As nightmare debuts in the Glasgow Derby match go, it was about as bad as they get. Up there with those endured by Ian Andrews, Scott Marshall, Michael Ball or even Joey Barton over the years. Letting in 5 goals on his first appearance in the world-famous fixture is a harrowing experience it will take Jak Alnwick some time to recover from. But where would Rangers have been yesterday without their replacement goalkeeper? Read more. Jak. Rangers board are taking their biggest gamble yet by going for Steven Gerrard. He denied Olivier Ntcham twice early on, tipped a volley from the same player wide in the second half and then produced 2 instinctive saves from James Forrest in the closing stages. Without him, the visitors could have suffered the ignominy of losing by a record scoreline. Their hosts could easily have reached double figures had he not pulled off so many fine blocks. When Callum McGregor prodded Odsonne Edouard cut back beyond Alnwick to put Celtic 5 in front early in the second half, there was well over half an hour of regulation time left to play. The only negative for the winners was they failed to build on their tally after that, and make history by racking up their record victory over their city rivals. The one positive for their opponents, meanwhile, was they avoided that fate. None of Graham Murty's men received pass marks on what was another painful afternoon for their supporters. Some were so poor once again they may very well be moved on in the summer. Few of their fans will mourn the departure of Daniel Candeias, Jason Cummings, Graham Dorrans, Andy Halliday, Jason Holt, Russell Martin or Josh Windass after this godless display. Read more. Celtic 5-0 Rangers. No words offered and none would have been accepted by Light Blues fans, but Alnwick, standing in for the injured Wes Fotheringham, deserves great credit for keeping the margin of defeat down. The 5-0 reverse was their heaviest ever in a league game. They have been playing the team from the east end of Glasgow in that competition for 127 years, since 1891, and have not been defeated by so many goals. But it was not as comprehensive a loss as the 7-1 annihilation they suffered in the League Cup final in 1957. It could, however, very easily have been. Celtic certainly clinched their 7th consecutive Scottish title in fine style in the brilliant April sunshine. It is the first time in 39 years, since that famous decider back in 1979, they had won that tournament with a win against Rangers. Over 50,000 of their fans savoured the occasion and then some. Still, there was a definite feeling of what might have been at the end of the 90 minutes. "We should have had 7, said their manager Brendan Rodgers after extending his unbeaten run in the Derby to 11 games. "But we'll take 5. Read more. Jak. Rangers board are taking their biggest gamble yet by going for Steven Gerrard. His opposite number Murty declined to carry out his media duties. He had been looking for his men to bounce back from the 4-0 loss they suffered in the William Hill Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden a fortnight earlier and revive his slender chances of being retained as manager beyond the summer with a draw or even a win. But there is no possibility of that happening now. Once again, his preparations for a big game were hampered by unhelpful speculation about his future. His team's display was so inept there is no chance of his services being retained. He may not even be in the dugout for the final 3 Ladbrokes Premiership matches even though his side can still finish in second place. Craig Gordon denied Holt in the first half and Alfred Morelos in the second after the striker had come on for Windass. But Rangers barely laid a glove on a Celtic team who were below par due to a flu bug which had swept through their squad in the build-up to the game. They were outthought and outfought and were fortunate not to lose by far more. Celtic dominated from kick-off to the final whistle. Edouard opened the scoring in the 14th minute after some excellent work by Kieran Tierney down the left flank and netted an impressive solo effort 4 minutes before halftime. James Forrest slotted home the third, his first in the fixture, with an individual goal that was every bit as good. He beat 3 men before drilling the ball into the bottom left corner. Read more. Celtic 5-0 Rangers. No words offered and none would have been accepted by Light Blues fans. Tom Rogic built on his side's tally just 2 minutes into the second half to become the first man to score in 4 Old Firm games in a season since Rangers winger Peter Lovenkrands did so 16 years ago and the first Celtic player to achieve the feat since Henrik Larsson managed it the year before. Then the excellent McGregor got in on the act with what was the 10th goal that Celtic have scored against Rangers without reply. Alistair Johnston, the former Rangers chairman and current director, had it advisedly claimed the Ibrox club were ahead of the curve in their recovery from years of corporate vandalism and financial mismanagement after the semi-final. But this showed they are well and truly behind the 8 ball if not right back to square one. Steven Gerrard in his prime would struggle to make a difference as a player, so it is very difficult to see what such an inexperienced coach will do if, as has been widely mooted, he agrees to taking over as manager in the coming days. Scott Brown and his teammates now have the chance to become the first Scottish team to win back-to-back domestic trebles if they can overcome Motherwell in the Scottish Cup final next month. It is hard to see them losing that outing or their domestic dominance being challenged anytime soon after this.